Uh, no, no, not yet. I think I'll unmute you here. I'll ask you. Yeah, here. It should ask you to unmute. Hi, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. How's
Great.
it? Yeah, I think Zach helped you before back in the past, right? Or a couple days
Yes.
ago. Yes. So usually, thank you for coming. Usually this class is a lot more people, but since it's a one-on-one, um, there's different ways this can go. Either I can go through the presentation, teach you about scam prevention, or we can talk about a problem you have, and I can help you through it, whichever you like.
Well, it doesn't matter to me, whichever. I'm not real familiar with this type of thing. And
Okay.
in fact, I had just downloaded Zoom because hadn't been using Zoom.
Oh, you use Zoom
And
before?
so I thought, well, I'll just try it and see what I can do.
So you used Zoom before in the past?
I use I Skype, but I just don't ever use Zoom.
I remember the times of Skype. That was like way back when like Skype was a thing.
I was always a little bit afraid for fear that something would that I'd be overwhelmed with or be being picked up on things and wasn't quite sure. So I thought, well, I'll just see how it goes.
Oh well, you were brave and you tried. So you get a one-on-one lesson with us then. Because yeah, we as you already know, we are doing everything in person, but we wanted to make our classes more like widespread, so we're taking it online.
Yeah, I am generally I've had your company come and we've used you several times for our computer and have been very pleased with it.
That's
I
good.
thought,
I'm glad.
well, I'll just try this and see what it is.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, since you're here, might as well go through the class and we can chat about it too. Today, I'm going over scam preventions. Are you familiar with scams that goes on? Does it happen a lot with you?
Yes, I know I get notices for different things. They'll send emails and things, and some where I have Avast on my computer as well, and it goes to when I use the Avast, it will come up and say there's a scam. Don't
Yeah,
open.
a vast, yeah. I don't know, like scams, like have you like one of our customers actually, it was like last year, I think she got scammed where she lost like almost like $80,000 from her life savings. So it was really scary, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so I just go through the meeting and then we'll just chat about it. It'll be a normal chill. It'll be a very normal chill presentation then. You already know what we do already. Zach has helped you out. How do you like Zach, by the way? He came over a couple of times, right?
Yes, yes, he was over several times.
What did he help you with?
Well, I had a lot of problems being able to get into certain sites, and it would get up to a certain point, and then it would stop, and I
Oh,
couldn't get into my things. And I worry about the scams because even on my phone, I keep getting notices, and I've taken it in. They've cleaned it up,
yeah.
and but then they come back with the fact that I have certain things on my phone. So it's really difficult to keep up with it.
No, I get it. I get it. This will help a lot because like, are you familiar with like the new AI on the rise and all that stuff like that?
Yes,
Yes. Yeah, like I know like I'm sure you're aware in the news they talk about how like useful AI is, but then on the other side, people have been using AI a lot to scam people as well. And it's getting kind of scary actually. I included some slides on here, but like are you like familiar or have you seen any scams that are made by AI yet? Or are you familiar that they are?
I've picked up some of the literature that I've seen on,
Yeah.
on scam, and
Nice.
but it's very difficult.
Mm. How so? Is it hard to like read or is it hard to understand?
Yeah, because, well, mainly I'm 94 years old. And so many of these things come in, and I try to keep up. I'm as alert as I feel I need to be, but it's just the idea of I get concerned about the fact that these things happen, and exactly how to do it. So usually what I'll end up doing is either call and Jack will come out and help take care of some things, or with the phone, I'll take it down to the phone place, T-Mobile, and they'll clean it up and take care of it for me. I tried downloading some of those different things on my phone, but
Yeah.
it got to the point I had so many things popping up, I didn't know what in the world to do with them all.
No, I get you. I get you. Like it's like it's kind of crazy how like scams are evolving every single day. Like if you don't keep up, you're putting yourself more at risk to like losing a lot of money, or your information. So it gets pretty crazy. Have you like I know we talked a little bit about like your experience with scams, but what are some other experiences you've experienced with scams? I know you get texts. Have you ever fallen for one before?
Yeah, it becomes very confusing. I know my husband he has his computer, and he gets a lot of things. I I have I worked with computers for
Yeah.
many years.
Oh, really?
I taught school, and for 37 years.
Wow.
And I worked with computers in school, and taught certain amount of computer work with the students.
That's really cool, actually. Have I'm assuming like the computers back then versus now has like completely different now, right? From your experience.
Oh, very different. It's so much easier. You didn't have all these things to worry about
Really? Really? What would you say is the
today.
most
It's
confusing
so
thing?
complicated.
What would you say is the most confusing thing about computers now versus back then?
I didn't get that.
What would you say the most confusing thing of computers now versus back then?
I think the security.
Security. Really? I would. How so? I'm actually curious.
There's so many things that come in, and like I know I have the Avast. I use the Defender.
Yeah.
But then I signed up for Avast, certain programs with Avast, and they pop up all the time warning, there's a scam, or it's a scam, or they'll come up and they'll say, you have a virus, and then they'll give you the opportunity to have them block it and clean it up and take care of it, and they will do it. But but I think you never had all those problems earlier when we worked with the computers.
Yeah, because I think back then, like the internet was less developed. So like scams are going about less. The more the internet is coming around, the more like prone there are to scams. All right, I'm just gonna keep going to slide. I mean, we can keep talking too. Did you know that like $3 billion is lost each year from financial scams? That's a pretty big number. I was researching it like that yesterday, and like I was expecting scams to be maybe like a couple million, but it's right actually in the billions actually.
Well, they talk so much about the scams
Mhm.
that it just makes you wonder, why people would be so evil, but I guess that's part of life.
They say every good deed what's it called? Every good deed can can go unpunished. So for every good that technology creates, it's like separate bad thing that people use it for like malware. Like AI is such a useful tool. I use it like almost every day, but like the other half of people are spending every single day of their lives figuring out how to use AI to scam people or take money from people. Just crazy.
It is.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's keep going.
But
I actually did a lot of research on this, and I was actually really surprised about some of them. Are you familiar with romance scams?
No, I've never gotten in with those at all. I just, I just won't do it. Um, and I don't feel the need for it. My husband and I are very happy, and
That there you go. There you go.
so we don't need, we don't need to worry about it.
Have you known anyone that has gone through a romance scam?
I've, I've, um, I've gotten some emails. In fact, I got one yesterday, relative to that. And I just block
Like, no, I'm happily married. Get out of here.
it.
Yeah, I think one of our customers, I think way back when, I think a couple months ago, I think it was an older gentleman actually, and I think his wife passed away, and he was going through his romance scam with this whatever lady or person, somewhere overseas, right? And everyone in his family knew that it was a romance scam, and they even told him, "Hey, this is a romance scam." But I think it's because I guess I would say, hate to say it, but he was very lonely during that time. Even though his family's coming over, he refused to like stop talking to the person, you know. And eventually, like he just eventually sent her like 30K. And honestly, it happens to a lot of like older adults now, where like they become very lonely, and a lot of times they do know it might be a scam, but because it fills in their loneliness, they can just continue doing it, you know. That's really sad to me.
Yes. There's so many things. They make it so difficult. And
Exactly.
I know I live we live in an independent living facility where we're with very many people. There are a couple hundred people who live here who have are in their later years, many of them in their 90s and 80s, and they use the computer, and many of them have no idea how to handle these types of things.
Exactly, exactly. And they ended up losing a lot of money. And it's like it's really unexpected. You never expected it, you know? All right, let's see. So I was researching yesterday. I came upon this fact. Do you see this? Do you see my screen right now? The little presentation.
I I didn't get that.
Do you see my presentation right now on the screen? By any chance?
No,
No. So do you see me right now?
I can see you.
Okay, but you can't see the presentation, right?
No,
Huh. That's weird because I'm sharing it right now. Oh, hold on. Let's see. What about now? Can you see it?
see, I have I have your thing up here, tech support AZ,
Oh, yeah, yeah, you can see it, right?
and
Older
but
adults.
then it just says older or more
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the presentation. But I was researching this, so apparently older adults are less likely to lose money because of scams than younger adults, actually, like young people like me. So it's funny because I think older adults lose about like $500 to $600 roughly on scams, and young people lose about 1,000 to like $2,000 on scams every day, actually. So it's kind of crazy. I didn't know that.
That's it. I try to be extremely careful. Yeah, when with anything that comes up, if it's a company I don't know, I try to deal strictly with certain um,
Yeah,
companies as far as supplements and things are concerned that I feel I can trust, like
exactly.
Gundry and Sears and a few of those people. And I stick only with something that I know is well known.
Exactly. Whereas like young people, they like trying new things, you know? And a lot of times those new things aren't as safe and secure as we think they are. Do you have any grandkids by any chance? Speaking of young people, grandkids, kids?
Um, I have two sons. One lives in Albuquerque and one lives in Phoenix. But he decided to give up computers, etc., because he felt there was too much involved with those things.
They
and
are.
and he's retired and he feels he may as well enjoy life. He loves gardening, and so he has a terrific garden and does that, and shares has a group that he shares things with. and does that. He said that way he's not always being bombarded with all these different things.
Yeah, that's computers. Computers are always bombarded like 24/7. It does not stop. Let's see here. So are you familiar with what's it called? So are you familiar with like deep fakes by any chance? Do you know what deep fakes are?
No,
So do you see this girl on my screen right now?
yes,
Yeah, so she's not real, by the way. So the AI is able to create like people that looks like very realistic, and people use that for like romance scams. It's like romance scams times on steroids, pretty much at this point, where people can create like fake images and videos of people like this, and then you leverage that as like a real person to scam other people.
well, that's the thing. It's very hard to know,
Yeah,
what's what.
yeah, exactly. And like back then, usually people would be like, "Hey, can you send me a video of yourself to like verify if you're a real person?" Nowadays, they can make a video by like recreating a fake person in the video too, so make it a lot harder to even tell as a real person.
The thing is with the artificial intelligence, it's extremely, it's frightening
Yeah,
because they can do so much, and they can take control of things that so easily.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like it's getting more human every day. Let me see. There's also ransomware. Have you? I think back then, have you heard of the scam? It's called like the Yes scam, where like they would call you and they would say something and they're like, hey, they want you to say yes. Have you heard of those before?
Yes.
Then they record your voice and then they say yes to like bank accounts and stuff like that. I know banks stopped doing it, but like back then, I know they used to do it. I was like, hey, do you want to verify if you want to send money here? And you just have to say yes, and they'll send the money over. Are you familiar with those?
I've heard of them.
Heard of them? Okay. Well, right now that with AI, they've taken that like 10 steps further. So instead of like the perpetrator recording your voice and say yes, right? And they record your voice. Now they can just have you talk for 3 seconds and then replicate your voice to say anything they want.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. That's kind of scary, huh? Like you can just
It
speak
is.
and then like they take your voice and they throw it into an AI and it converts that voice to like your voice in a tone of speech that's like nearly the same as you. And it sounds nearly identical. It's kind of scary actually, how far that can go.
Yes, I think I think that there's it's difficult.
Yeah. Let's see. Uh, okay. Fake billing documents. I'm sure you're aware of this already. Let's see. Are you familiar with phishing scams? I think this is a regular norm. Even though it's funny, a lot of people know about phishing scams, but like everyone still falls for them though for some reason, you know? Like phishing scams pretty much are like fake emails, fake email, pretty much are fake emails that like makes you review like passwords, usernames, and credit card numbers. Um,
At,
so
at this point, when we get any emails of any kind, both my husband and I, we'll check with each other about it and see what we think. But if they say just give this much information and then we will continue, and we won't do it. We get rid of that and we go to they say there's a company, we'll
yeah,
go to the company.
that's
And and like we have gotten scams, scam things that come through, even with regards to Cox, etc.
yep.
And we'll print those out, and then we stop at the Cox place and say, "Is there any truth to any of this?"
That's
Because,
very smart. That's very
because we're afraid to answer anything. We'll get rid of the email, and then we'll contact Cox personally.
that's very smart actually. Yeah. That's because a lot of people accidentally click on like links and stuff like that. And then once you click on the link, you're pretty much done. Like once you click on the link, you lost your information at that point. So printing it out is very, very smart actually. So they don't accidentally click on like a link or something like that. Let's see.
But we won't put any information in for anything that, that the, that where they want any kind of personal information. We will not give it unless we know who we're talking to.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I don't know. When I think about whenever you mention how like we don't give out any for anyone information until we know who it is. When I think about the like younger generation, they just give out information freely, like it's like anything, you know. That's why like our information is like just everywhere on the internet at this point. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
Um,
And I think they take advantage of seniors
they do.
because they know that that many of them get very confused very easily.
Yep, they get very nervous. They get very scared. So they just follow along. So yeah, so I mean, I'm sure you've seen one of these before. This like email that looks like Geek Squad or something like that, saying, "Hey, you're doing great. You want some money or some stuff like that. You put your information in here, you know." Let's see.
Yeah, it's really, it's confusing. And I think it's a shame that they're allowed to do that.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm trying to get more people onto this like online class so we can teach them so they don't get they're more aware of it, you know.
Mhm.
All right, let's see. Phishing and smishing. I'm sure you've seen these too. This pretty much is like the same as like phishing, where of an email. But instead of like using an email, they do it over a phone call or text message. So have you ever gotten like a call from the IRS before? I mean, nobody wants a call from the IRS, but like this is a scam call from the IRS.
And yes, we get so many notices about all these things, even on the internet. They'll
Mhm.
send something similar to this. They'll put a notice that these certain scams, and it's hard to know. And what we do is we like I have LifeLock, and
Yeah, I
I
thought
what I do is there'll be these different things that will come in about scams, and you may be affected. I don't know if it's from them or not. I will just delete it, and then I will call them and see if they send it, but I'll put no information or give any information.
exactly. The IRS can come get me. I'm not answering your phone.
Yeah, it's and anything to do with like the IRS, et cetera, any notices that we get. If we have any question, we'll take the time, to get on to the IRS and ask them.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, personally, even as like a young person like myself, if the IRS, if someone calls me and says, "Hey," now I know, obviously, but if I didn't know, and the IRS was like, "Hey, you owe us like $10,000, send it or you go to jail," I would get pretty nervous myself too. You know?
Yeah, it's scary and it frightens, many times it frightens the older people
Exactly, exactly. 'Cause
where
they don't know.
we at least are able, and to get around, we drive, we're able to get to places, and we know where some of these different places are, so we can go and ask. And
Exactly,
we're not, whatever it was, it may come in if it's something on the internet.
exactly.
And then we feel it's worth it to go and ask.
Yep, exactly. It's always better to go in person to ask to make sure, especially when it comes to the IRS. Because if you're sent, because some people sent $10,000 to like the fake IRS, and they called the IRS like, yeah, we didn't even like contact you or anything like that.
Yeah, it's there has to be a better way to be able to do some of those things.
Exactly.
Than to I think that's why they really work on young people, and they like to work on younger kids with some
Yeah,
of the things, because they know the kids will take a chance.
we're too lazy to go out and like young kids are too lazy to drive out to this IRS like the government buildings. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do it over the internet, and that leads to makes us a bit more vulnerable to pay those money. So we're too used to it.
Yeah, it, it's a shame, but but we just get to the point that we don't go even open any emails that are from certain places. Because usually, or if you open it, you get a certain amount of information, and you know if you read it, it can't be true.
Exactly, exactly. Have you I guess on to the next scam. Have you seen these FedEx text message? I get these all the time, and like they almost got me one time because I ordered a package at the same time they sent it. I'm like, hmm. But usually FedEx doesn't even send you a text message.
Yeah, we get I get messages from them. They have a package that they can't deliver because there's a problem with the address, or they don't have, they need further information.
Yeah,
And I just get rid of it because I know that we didn't order something.
exactly. See, the crazy part is when you order something and then they send the text too. See that's when like that's when you got to really think about it.
And usually when you order something, and we watch who we order from
Yeah.
closely.
All right, let's go to the next one. Tech support scams have these are pretty honestly. I'll say the one that people lose the most money on, and the way they do it is very interesting. Is tech support scams. So are you familiar with how tech support scams work? I know it's funny because we do tech support, but are you familiar with like how tech support scams work?
No.
No, so yeah, so it's pretty interesting actually. So you say you use Avast, right, for your antivirus and anti-scam prevention, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes. The way tech support scams work is they pretend to be Avast, or they pretend to be like a tech supporter scam preventer. So what they do is they send a, let's say they use a pop-up or they send a virus to your computer, right? Or it's like a fake pop-up saying, hey, your computer is infected with a virus. So it's very similar to Avast. And then you click on it, right? Once you click on it, it slows your computer down and installs software. And then from there, they recommended you like, hey, since your computer is slow, call this number right now, right? So we can help you. So once you call them up, they pretend to fix it. But in reality, they actually install more viruses to your computer to then make it more slow. So initially it seems like it's getting fixed and it works fine, but then they can activate that like virus they install on your computer to make it slow again. Then you gotta rinse and repeat that cycle over and over again where they make money off you, both from your information and then from the tech support sessions that they quote unquote help you with. So it's an interesting cycle.
Well, what about, like with some of these things, whenever they tell you some of this, if when you go, is it safe? Like when you go, we've done this already. Get
Yeah.
down to like Best Buy or one of those places where they have a computer department.
Yeah.
And is it safe to go to those places with your computer to have them clear up something, or
Depends on what you're trying to clear up. Um, Typically, if you're trying to go there to clear up your computer, um, most of the time they don't do too much. They pretty much go in and close all the tabs. And like, hey, yeah, we just close all the tabs, clear up the information a little bit, and clear the cache. But more or less, they should be pretty safe. They just won't be doing too much. That's what I'm saying. You know, because when a virus hits, it's really, really hidden, and it takes like a bit more digging inside rather than just like a normal clean to actually take like clear out the viruses. Does that make sense?
yes, that's like when you go to, we have one or two places that if we have had an emergency, we would go there.
Yeah,
And, but now that we had contact with your company, then
yeah,
generally, if we have a problem, we feel safer calling and asking that we be able, somebody come, or tell them what the problem is. Even if we have to wait a day, that's fine.
yeah. Like someone coming directly to you is a lot safer, and it's the same guy. So you know, at least you know his face and where he like where he comes from. You know, that's a perk at least.
Yeah, I tell you, it makes you question many times on things. And that's why I said to my son, I said, maybe you were smart in deciding to do away, now that you're retired with the computer, because that way you're cutting out a lot of problems.
Yeah, yeah, honestly. What's it called? Yeah, no, like to your question earlier, yeah, Best Buy is pretty safe. I just don't think they do a good enough job of getting everything underneath the computer, you know? Most of those guys there, they're like general support guys who like kind of just fix things instead of like looking for issues underneath the hood. And yeah, so, like it sounds really controversial because we're also like a tech education support company. But when you go to these companies that do your computers, computer repairs and clearing out, just be careful because a lot of times there could be a lot of scammers that, you know, do the tech support, you know, and then install bad software into your computer. But that's
Yeah,
just something you
that's the big problem. That's the thing that always concerns me. Like you'll go in, so many people go in and they will sit down and they'll work with you on the computer. And if it's something that they feel that there has to be something done, then they'll keep your computer, take care of it, and then you go back and pick it up.
yeah,
And but then if they're different people there all the time, if when you go, and so when they sit down and start working on your computer, it makes me question, are they legitimate or not?
yeah, yeah. I mean, my rule of thumb when it comes to installing stuff on your computer, and this is I mean this is usually best practice like for any computer, is the less software and less programs you install on your computer, the better. Because the more programs you install, the more increased chances you like catching a virus or catching some others like thing. The less the better, pretty much what I'm saying. The
Well, that's
simple,
the way I feel as far as a cell phone is concerned, because with the cell phone, I don't get my email on the cell phone. I don't do any of that. I have my computer. If I need to check my email or something, I can do it.
yeah,
I don't need to be doing it when I'm out on the road or whatever I'm doing. And all it does is just bring in so many more problems.
exactly. They say more tech, more problems, right?
So,
Uh,
so it's it keeps you very alert.
exactly, exactly. If one slip up can you can lose a lot, like especially with older adults, one slip up you can lose your whole entire savings, like life savings, you know. And that's a very scary thing to think about. Let's see.
And we have had incidents where we had called, like say for instance a company, and it would be a legitimate company, and ask them about a certain thing on a computer, and they'll ask you, well, they want to take control of your computer,
Mhm.
and that frightens me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those I don't think taking control of computers too. I mean, it depends on who does it. You know, if they're a legitimate company and you trust them, then yeah, that's fine. You know, but a lot of companies if they take control of the computer, yeah, I would say you just reduce that as much as possible because to me that's kind of scary too. Like you're having control over a computer from somewhere somehow.
Right, and I have no idea where they are, who they are, and it's frightening. It's hard to make yourself give them the permission to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, yeah, because you're clicking it. You're like, oh, let's go ahead, go do it, and then you don't like half the time you don't even know what they're doing. That's the scary part. The thing about computers is like when they work on your computer, and even if you're there, you still don't know what they're doing.
No, they're just working on going in and doing something with it, and you have no idea once you're out of there, if you take it in, what what they've done.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I mean that's why we try to make it more like personable and having someone there so you can see and explain rather than being remote where you don't know them. Speaking of remote, what's it called? In 2018, there's this like Indian company where like I think they scammed like millions of people with their tech support scams because they have like in India they have these like giant call centers and tech support centers where they do these scams. Like they're big corporations, not like one guy doing it, you know.
Boy,
That's scary. Like
Yeah,
they like their profession that when they wake up in the morning is to go scam people. Like they have that profession. It's crazy. When I looked more into it.
yeah, it makes me, the more I see these things and hear about some of these things that take place and some of the problems that people have, I can understand where it can be because of people, like people who when you call for certain things, when you have a problem and they say, well, call this number, you call and you're talking to somebody in another country.
Yeah, and
And how in the world do you know how secure that is?
exactly. I mean, it's because partially it's because of the labor laws and like the cost of labor. So everyone outsources to like India or the Philippines or China, to like do these call centers. And but like that's it. Like yeah, it's just more. It's just cheaper. That's why a lot of people just do it. But then you run this risk like having these giant call centers scamming you.
Right, and well, we have decided that when it comes to the computers, et cetera, we have been very pleased with the service that we have gotten from your company. And so we feel secure.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad Zach's doing a good job. Zach's sick right now. Funny enough, Zach got food poisoning today, so he would have joined our meeting. But he was sick. I think he ate something wrong, and I think he can barely wake up today. So hope he's doing good.
Yeah, he's very good, and we've been we feel very comfortable
That's
with
good.
them calling, and I'd rather wait a day and just not bother using the computer or whatever if necessary.
Yeah,
Just for the sake of being able to know that it's going to be done safely.
exactly. Trust. I think with like the whole tech support and tech education, especially with the older demographic, I think trust is a big thing. Like being able to like provide like trustworthy people rather than it's just being a random person behind a screen, And that's really important to us that that the person servicing you is a real person that shows up, either both online like myself teaching people or like Zach as an in-person person, so you know them as a person. I think that's really important in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if you know the people and you know, and it's a local company, you know that they're going to be very careful or they're done for.
Exactly, exactly. So that's why we always try to be in person, both online like this or Zach going over. So have you heard of a triangulation fraud by any chance? I know that's a big word for a scam, but this is the first time I heard of it when I was doing research. But are you familiar with a triangulation fraud?
No,
So this one's actually really interesting. I didn't know, but do you shop online? Do you shop on Amazon? Do you use Amazon? Do you use
yes, I do shop at Amazon.
Okay, so this is I think this might have happened a couple years ago, but just so you know, so a triangulation scam is pretty much it targets people who shop online, right? So the way to do it is they set up a fake online store that is they sell stuff. They sell clothes, shoes, bags, whatever, right? And people usually like they order online, they put a credit card in. And what these guys do is, yeah, they'll use your credit card to go buy that product at like a real store and then send you the product, right? But the thing here is how it's fraud is they have your credit card information. So instead of like protecting it, they use that credit card information, exploit it to buy other things. So you wouldn't know. So they act like a middleman between the real store and you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, now I see what you're saying. I can understand how that could easily happen. And you do get certain ads for certain things and they have odd company names, etc. But
Yeah.
even some of them state that they're on Amazon. And at one time would have considered, well, Amazon is a legitimate and a good company. So, there should be no problem. But I still am very leery about ordering anything that isn't from a legitimate company.
Exactly. Even with legitimate companies, you like there are times that people like how to play the system. They got around the system and figured out somehow to scam someone. But I mean, nowadays everyone, the security, especially on Amazon, is pretty good. This happened a couple of years ago, and I think Amazon like took it really seriously and it took it down and like put protection on it. But yeah, don't be putting your credit cards online to different websites because this can happen.
Yeah, makes you very leery about. In fact, we've gotten to the point that most times now, if we want to buy something, we go to a local store, we buy it, and we pay cash.
Yep, exactly. Once your credit
Because,
card's online, it's online.
yeah, if you're online, you have no idea who you're talking to or what they're up to.
Exactly, exactly. Next one, pyramid schemes. I think pyramid schemes has been a thing for like forever already. But I guess back in your day, have you seen any pyramid schemes or experienced any before?
Yes, I've seen some of these things where they offer it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't remember what's one famous pyramid scheme. I have one here. But yeah, I mean, we all know what a pyramid scheme is. The more people you join, the more people you get. I know back then they do a lot of it in person, so someone would go convince someone. But now with like online, it's so widespread that's so easily to get other people underneath you, you know. So the internet just makes it a lot easier for the scam to go around. Um, Pump and dump. Do you do any stocks or do you do any investing by any chance?
We don't anymore.
Not anymore. Why? If you don't mind, ask why not? Like no stocks or anything like that.
There's so many things you see on TV, ads of all these different companies for about fraud stock things. And
Yep.
I think how many of them are just part of it.
A pump and dump. Are you familiar with a pump and dump?
Um, I've heard of it, but I never really followed it because we aren't involved with it any longer.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, pump and dump happens pretty often. If you didn't know what it is, it's pretty much a group of wealthy individuals. They would like have a stock out there, right? They would put like exchange of stock out there, either a penny stock or like a larger corporation if they get big enough. And what they do is they invest a bunch of money to inflate the price. So everyone's like, oh, this is going up, you know? And this causes more people to go buy in, which causes it to go up even further. So once it hits its highest and they made a lot of money, the small group of individuals pull all their money out. Then that causes the stock to plummet. And the person who pulls it out all at once makes all the money. And everyone else who like fell into the scam loses all their money because the price went down too hard after they pump and dump, you know?
Well, we were talking at our dining room table. The one woman that I sit with, that we sit with, she was telling us that she saw these stocks that were for special sales that were starting on something, and so they sounded so good and interesting, so she bought some stocks, and she said she has them. She said she's afraid to even try to sell them.
No,
She said that finally the price dropped to each share was like $2 and something is how low it is. So she said, I know it's fraud and I know it's useless, but she said, I don't want to take a chance to go any further with it.
yeah, yeah. So sell while you can. That's once it drops, like it might go back up. I'm not sure. You know, if it goes up really high, that's a certain that's a sure sign that you should probably sell. You know, don't wait any further. Not this is not financial advice, by the way. Just want just in case. All right. So this was a company. I think in 2016, it was called BitConnect. I think during this time, it was are you familiar with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes. So this company was involved back in 2016, 2018. They had this like fake online cryptocurrency, and they were able to convince a lot of big time investors to like put money in. And I think around 2018, the CEO and like the founders, they just pulled all the money out from the company and just left the country. So everyone who invested money in just lost all their money. I think it was like over like $400 million were lost.
Ah,
So it was a big money. Like crypto, a lot of people invest in crypto. I used to invest back then, but I'm not a big fan of cryptocurrency. It's too volatile. People can change the way the value goes up and down too much.
Well, my husband's daughter told us a while back that she had bought some Bitcoins.
Yeah, and Bitcoin's fine. Bitcoin's a very if you're gonna buy any cryptocurrency, Bitcoin's the one to buy, in my opinion.
And so, so they if they with there's Bitcoins, there it's really easy to know, do you think, she says hers has gone up in value considerably.
Yeah,
So we're hoping, we said to her, be extremely careful.
yeah. I mean, with Bitcoin, I would say it's probably the safest option. If you want to like, Bitcoin's probably the most mainstream cryptocurrency out there. So I'll say it's pretty safe to buy. Like I have some Bitcoin that I bought too. But I mean, if you want to go on cryptocurrency, probably Bitcoin's your safest option. It's very secure, very protected. It's very well known, and I would recommend. But that's the most safest one. That's all. Let's see. This is probably the final one. Skill-based one. This is pretty normal. A lot of companies, especially big ones too, they have these competitions where people would submit their work, and instead of like, and they promise a reward, but instead of like giving them a reward, they give them bare minimum, and then they use their work for like their business or some stuff like that. A company like 123RF, what they did is they did like a competition where people where photographers and designers would submit photos, right? And they could win cash prizes, but at the end of the day, these guys didn't pay out the cash prizes and took their pictures to use and resell again. So that's something that happened a lot too on the internet. I think they're called competition scams or skill-based scams.
Yeah, well, like we, at our age, we had, luckily, we were at a time whenever we could invest some money in some things and be pretty safe.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
Today, with all the things that are going on, it's very difficult to be able to find somebody that you feel is really true and sincere.
exactly. Yeah, because I mean everything's digital, so you just gotta know who's behind the camera. You don't know. Let's see.
But this has been very interesting. Will you be sending like an email stating what the topics are going to be of your different programs?
Yeah, yeah, I will. I could send it over. We're gonna do a lot of this because I know this is the first one. It's very general, but over time we're gonna have a lot deeper courses. But the answer is yes. All these are recorded. I'll put them on YouTube so other people can watch it as well and share and learn the content. But yeah, on our website, and we have a list of topics that we're gonna go teach as well every week. It happens every Tuesday, by the way. Every Tuesday at 10.
And will we get an email where we will sign up for that one, or?
Oh no. So I think you already signed up already. So you should receive a notification every Monday about the class on Tuesday. But I have a sign up sheet online where people can just put their names, emails, so they can get the sign up. You only need to sign up once because it's
Yeah,
a weekly thing. So you just keep going to it every Tuesday.
well, it's very interesting. I just had never bothered with Zoom because we never felt it necessary. Skype was enough when we could have a whole group of the family get together on Skype. And
Yeah,
and so we were pleased with that. And so when I tried to get in, they said I wasn't signed up. Hadn't downloaded Zoom, so I had to go. I was going through all that in a hurry before I got in.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean with Zoom, you don't have to download anything, by the way. You can use it on your browser, by the way, too. So you don't necessarily have to download anything. But yeah, let me finish this up real quick. So COVID-19 scams, we've been through this: fake vaccines, fake charities, fake COVID-19 vaccination cards. It was a crazy time back then. 2, 3 years ago when COVID was around, that was a crazy time. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, like here, with the COVID thing, we they had it worked out so that they had somebody from one of the stores,
Yeah.
one of the pharmacies come out and give the shots to anybody who wanted them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, the whole presentation. Typically I tell what people we do afterwards, but you already know what we do already. But yeah, I mean, if you like the class, this thing happens every Tuesday at 10. So if you know any friends in your community who likes to learn or you think this would be helpful, ask them to join. It'll be fun.
Okay, I sure will. Well, I tell you, I appreciate this very much. You've done a
Of
great
course.
job.
It's gonna be free, and
A lot of information.
of course, it's free, and we just want more people to learn and be safe, you know.
Okay, then I'll look at the they had what you had, what the topic was for the next week or two.
Yep. If you check the email that we sent, you should get an email from us with the link that you clicked on. There should be there's just a part on top of it. It says all the topics are here. And you click on that, it should show all the topics coming up.
Okay. And then I'll do that. I'll go in and take a look at it all. And if we have any problem with our computers, then you can be sure we'll be giving you a call.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, Teresa.
Okay, well, thanks a million.
Enjoy your day, okay?
Okay, you have a good week.
You too. Bye.
Goodbye.